Hey all, if you've clicked on this video and you're ready to watch another full-fledged Weather Center segment, please I ask that you stay until the end of this episode for a special Happy Thanksgiving wish from us here in the Weather Center. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to meet and greet and discuss all things weather and personable things over our time here in the YouTube weather community. So please I ask, if you want to skip to the end of this video, as a matter of fact, to receive this wish, please feel free to do so. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, guys, because we have bigger and better things coming very soon as we roll out of hurricane season 2023, and I'm so excited to do it with all of you at our side. Thank you for watching. Here it comes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Weather Center Nazario. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, November 22nd, 2023. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your Wednesday afternoon to join me for this wonderful Weather Center Nazario segment. And as the title of this video alludes to, today we are already sailing into some uncharted waters and doing things a little bit differently because the weather is looking pretty phenomenal just about across the board for everyone we're going to talk about today. So this is going to be a very fast-paced video. I don't really have a lot to cover. I'd like to see it tonight at our 8 p.m. post-Tropics Talk. It will be still labeled Tropics Talk just because we will kind of touch on what's going on out there. I'll mention it in this video segment as well, but we're going to blast through this because, guys, the weather's looking pretty good, at least for the next week, maybe some change. So we're starting off on our infrared satellite shot, and you can see all that tremendous thunderstorm activity that provided us with a severe thunderstorm outbreak over the southeastern parts of the mid-Atlantic coastline has since evacuated off the shore and is now in the extreme westernmost Atlantic waters, beginning to slowly push towards the island of Bermuda. So Bermuda, you're probably going to see some rainfall and enhanced wind activity with this as it continues to propagate off to the east. But in terms of what we have going on over the lower 48, predominantly you can now see we have a very good trough axis across much of the eastern half of the United States and a broad amplitude ridge still building in across the west. And that's kind of helping to suppress a lot of our substantial weather activity. There is still some phenomena going on out there, but nothing in terms of severe or anything catastrophic to report on right now. Down across the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, we are quiet and calm, cool and collected for that matter. You could see remnants of our tropical disturbance, Invest 99L, trying to hold on to a little bit of thunderstorm activity, still continuing to peter on and off, flaring up every once in a while. No major concern there. We're not anticipating a major landfall or any kind of substantial influence along the coastline of Centam, Nicaragua, and Honduras. It looks like we are starting to see a little bit of a resurgence in our East Pac monsoonal moisture, as well as what's happening over South America. And if you remember a few videos ago, I'd mentioned we really wouldn't see any impacts with 99L, but rather a lot of the moisture is just simply going to come across an intercontinental flow, if you will, moving off to the west, and the prevailing easterlies across much of the greater Atlantic area and northern South America, kind of helping to intensify a little bit of the relative humidity down over Central America, but nothing in terms of flooding, no severe weather, not even any really significant thunderstorm coverage, maybe a couple of isolated garden variety cells during max heating of the day. Out in the Atlantic, we are starting to lose the development chances with our little area of interest out here. I know it's an area of interest at this time highlighted at about a 50% chance of development over the next 7 days. We were thinking we could see subtropical storm Vince come out of this, and it does seem like that development has been delayed, but as I'll take you through the models here in a moment, a lot of our models are still on board that this could maybe go sub 1,000 millibars in its center of circulation once it does break off from this overarching frontal chain you could see running across much of the central and northern Atlantic. So we're going to start with our 12Z GFS looking across the North Atlantic and much of the United States, Central America, and the Caribbean for that matter. And as we go through time, the main area I want you to focus on is right about here. We're already at the 42-hour mark of the loop. You can see our 1,005 millibar center of circulation with that low that is expected to break off from that frontal chain I highlighted to you on the infrared satellite. You can see the parent low that was once associated with that system continuing to move across the Northern Atlantic, kind of pinwheeling around one another as it continues to go over top the ridge that's in the northernmost Atlantic Ocean, with the frontal boundary beginning to pass its way through the Azores Islands. And as I continue the loop through time, that is going to be our area of concern in terms of where this system could track as it deepens down to a sub 1,000 millibar low. You can see it at 999 millibars as of the 96-hour point, 12 Zulu, this upcoming Sunday, the 26th. It is right over top the islands, which initially we were thinking it would make a close pass to the west. Now it does seem like it's looking to pass overhead because of this very strong, ample high pressure coming off the northeast United States, eastern Canadian provinces, helping to kind of push it just a little bit further to the east. No cause for alarm. We're going to see some elevated winds and rainfall with this, but because it is a subtropical storm, we're really not going to see the enhanced effects that we would see if this were another Hurricane Margot, for example, earlier this hurricane season. So we're still keeping an eye out for you guys out there in our Azores Islands in the Northeast Atlantic, but then again, across the board, guys, even if you look across the lower 48 and parts of Canada, we have some areas where we could see some rain and snow, possibly over the Canadian provinces, a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity over the Midwest, the Central and Southern Plains, the Gulf Coast, but a lot of our models have been backing off in terms of the intensity of these low-latitude riders, is what I'll call them, during this El Nino fall and winter season, and you could see we just look at maybe some disorganized precip activity propagating across the Gulf through Florida and the rest of the Southeast. Nothing as significant as what we saw over the last couple days with our tornado outbreak, the severe weather, and back in October, if you guys remember, just before Friday the 13th, we had a very aggressive system come out of the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing in that realm, at least for the foreseeable future. You can do a quick sanity check looking at the euro. If we look back out over the Atlantic, the euro is also in full agreement. We will see that center of circulation pass very, very close, maybe barely scraping to the west of our Azore Islands locations, coming down to about 1,001 millibars in its center of circulation, and this actually looks a little bit more frontal than what a lot of our models are thinking. You can kind of highlight a textbook warm sector and a cold frontal appendage to the south of it, right where I have my ink drawn. If you follow the precip lines and a little bit of the troughing, the kinking in the isobars, you can see right in this general area. So it almost looks like the euro thinks it's going to stay attached to this parent low to the north and remain a chain of frontal activity passing across that area, which once again means we're not going to see any real substantial impacts from it. Maybe some heightened winds, good shot of rain for the areas in the Northeast Atlantic, but again, no cause for alarm. Honestly, guys, I'd be lying to you if I said there was anything big on the horizon that I'm tracking currently. Again, you can see over the Caribbean, over the Gulf of Mexico, the rest of the Atlantic for that matter, tropical season has officially concluded. It is quiet, and honestly, I would anticipate we should all take full advantage of this break that Mother Nature is giving us. So now we're going to cruise on into the Caribbean Sea, take a look at the Gulf of Mexico up close, as well as our locations in the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, and Central America for that matter. And this is the main reason, honestly, you guys are going to see nil to none kind of shower or thunderstorm activity, at least over the next 4 or 5, maybe even the next week. If you take this through time, the dry air that helped to suppress any sort of development from Invest 99L is going to remain in place. And as you take this even further towards the back end of the 12Z Euro loop, take a look at how we get even more dry air to supplement what's already down there out of our tropical Atlantic, the main development region where we saw a lot of our infamous tropical activity develop during the heart of hurricane season. As such, we are expecting most of our islands down there, the Lesser Antilles, Northern South America, Trinidad, Tobago, spanning further to the west, view our U.S. British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, everyone who saw quite a bit of flooding with that tropical disturbance 98L that was originally PTC 22 move across your area. We're going to be taking a good long break from any kind of significant rainfall activity. So thankfully, this will give you an opportunity to start the cleanup process and hopefully try to get to as best of a back to normal state as you can out there. We don't want to ignore this little sliver of moisture right here. This is El Nino, as a matter of fact, because in the upper levels of the environment, you can kind of see in our wind flow right in through here, all these 50 knot and above wind barbs. It might be a little hard for you guys to see, but our subtropical jet is going to remain in place, and as such, that jet is going to help to funnel moisture across Central America, across Mexico, so I do think we'll see a little bit of thunderstorm coverage over central parts of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, maybe a couple of little low riders coming across the Gulf just to up our rain chances here in the southeast, but again, nothing significant on the immediate future, on the immediate radar. The main reason we are kind of just chilling at the moment, for lack of a better term, is because our jet is actually going to calm down. This is at 0 Zulu on Saturday, and I want to leave this picture at the static image here. We're going to leave it at this point in the loop because if you look, there really isn't any substantial jet energy to help provide us with a lot of enhancement or upward vertical motion, divergence, whatever kind of meteorological dynamic you want to put on the table. We're looking at maybe the maximum winds in our polar front jet, subtropical jet, the northern branch of the jet up here through the northern Canadian territories, topping out at maybe 110 to 120 knots. And in layman's terms, basically, we're just not going to get a whole lot of upper level spin, good shortwave vorticity, things that are really going to help to create a lot of havoc down in the low levels of the environment with this week of a jet, or multiple jets for that matter, flowing across North America. This reprieve, naturally because of the way weather likes to ebb and flow, is going to come to an end. So as I take this through time, you can see we do see quite a bit of increase in our jet level level activity. Not so much right in through here. What you're seeing here, guys, is a shared energy region. We have multiple jets, the subtropical jet right in through here, the polar front jet moving across like so, and the northern branch of the jet coming out of the northern Canadian territories, all interacting at once. So we will likely see some enhanced weather phenomena, nothing concerning at this point in time. Along the eastern half of the United States, moving across the mid-Atlantic states, we could get a little bit of a nor'easter spinning up as we go towards the very back end of November, the 29th into the 30th, to up our rain and snowfall chances for the northeastern states. But it won't be until we turn the calendar into December where you can see very, very aggressive jet activity crossing the Aleutian Island chain in Alaska, helping to really amplify our weather pattern and our overall upper air pattern, for that matter, with a very, very sharp trough axis, helping to kick things off once again on 12 Zulu, moving into 18Z, or the middle of the day, December 2nd, the following weekend after Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to wrap things up with our 12Z European model, and you can see we are expecting a pretty nice dusting of snowfall over the Intermountain West, Great Basin, Central Rockies. I've been looking at what National Weather Service is predicting with this, and there is no substantial threat for very heavy snow or high winds with this system as it comes down. It looks like they're predicting we could see an accumulation of maybe 2 to 3 inches in some areas, a lot more higher terrain snowfall coverage, which honestly, in my opinion, makes for a wonderful kickstart to our Thanksgiving holiday in less than 24 hours now. And this is the 48-hour mark. As you continue through time at 72 hours, notice we did have a little bit of a low-level spin once highlighted in the Gulf of Mexico. We talked about this yesterday, but both the Euro and the GFS are backing off in terms of its intensity. So it looks like as we go into Saturday and Sunday, this upcoming weekend, post-Black Friday shopping and Thanksgiving, we could see our rain chances go back up here in the Central Florida area. And then as we continue through time, remember that area of enhanced jet activity I showed you at 250 millibars? Here you go. You can see all the increased snowfall in Quebec, Ontario, James Bay, the Hudson Bay area, spanning across the mid-Atlantic and northeastern coastline where another weak nor'easter tries to kick off. But then again, guys, look across the United States. We're looking bone dry, maybe a little bit of higher terrain, light snow flurries in eastern Montana, Wyoming, moving into the Dakotas. But there is no cause for concern. And I wish I had more to talk to you about, but truthfully, I think I personally am going to enjoy this little bit of a reprieve we get with Mother Nature behaving herself for at least the next 5 to 7 days. We're going to fast forward to the end of the loop, and you can see that is when our systems are really going to ramp back up. We have another strong Gulf of Mexico low rider coming through and another low deepening down over the Midwest, kind of moving into the Appalachians mid-Atlantic region. And on the West Coast, we have a 990 millibar low prog to come into the Pac Northwest, really helping to elevate our non-convective wind threat, mixed wintry precip action for most of the northwest quadrant of the United States, and then we have a massive storm system expected to take shape along the east coast of the U.S. So guys, that is all I have for you today. All in all, if you want to take anything away from this video, enjoy the holiday, have a great Thanksgiving, enjoy the Thanksgiving weekend, the vacation with your friends, your family, and all your loved ones you get to see over the next couple of days, because it looks like here in the Weather Center, we're going to be kicking back, cracking open a cold one, and enjoying the holiday right along with you guys, because we really don't have a whole lot to worry about or anything concerning in the immediate future here in the weather department. Guys, I'm going to take this extra little bit of time to communicate to you my Thanksgiving sentiments to everyone tuning into this video, as well as later on this evening at our 8 p.m. live stream on my channel. I really hope to see you there so we can do some pre-Thanksgiving festivities on the channel, kind of talk about what our battle rhythm is going to be as we go through the bona fide winter season into spring, and we begin to explore what the next hurricane season has in store for us now that the 2023 season has officially and meteorologically concluded. May not have concluded on the calendar, but in my opinion, looking at our ensembles and probabilities, we're not going to see anything else out there. Even if that subtropical system gets going, it's going to play no real significant influence to anyone's weather outside of the Azores Islands, where they could see some enhanced phenomena as a result of it, but nothing cataclysmic. So folks, it goes without saying, as we approach the 6,000 subscriber mark, I cannot be more thankful for every single one of you who have jumped aboard the Weather Center and shown me such great and generous support over the last several months. This all started with Hurricane Idalia's coverage, and you guys took to the channel immediately with a very warm welcome to me into the YouTube weather community, and I couldn't be more humbly proud of all the content that I've grown to learn and to produce for you guys as we now prepare to exit hurricane season and look ahead to what the winter, the spring, and next year has in store for each and every one of us. So folks, I really hope you enjoy the most out of your Thanksgiving holiday. For those of you out there who may still be suffering from a severe weather event that hit your area, just know that I and the rest of my community are behind you in this, and we are sending you as much much positive prayer support as possible. To our folks down there in Mexico still recovering from Hurricane Otis, we have not forgotten about you guys. To our friends in the Greater Antilles who had to do battle with PTC 22 and the locations, especially Barbuda, who were hit hard by Hurricane Tammy and Tropical Storm Philippe not so long ago, we are with you in spirit, and we are also celebrating whatever it is you guys have going on down there, and whatever brings up that positive energy post-severe weather event for you guys right here in our Weather Center community. The same goes for our folks who were impacted by Tropical Storm Ophelia and Hurricane Idalia earlier this hurricane season. I suppose you could say the end of this video is a little bit of a recap of the coverage I've provided and whoever was affected by our systems as they rotated through the North Atlantic AOR throughout tropical season 2023. So folks, I cannot express how grateful I am for you guys. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope to see you tonight for our last live stream of the week before we begin our holiday travel here in the Weather Center. So we'll see you later on this evening. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Weather Center Nazario, signing out.